So just getting comfortable wherever you are today. If you are joining us from Zoom, maybe making sure that you have a block around you or a book, pillow, a blanket, whatever it is that you want that will make you feel comfortable today. You can sit on your block. You can sit in your chair. You can lay all the way down on the floor. Maybe starting to close your eyes. Just shifting your focus inward or simply taking your gaze to the floor, maybe away from your screen. And starting to find your breath. Just becoming aware of how your body's feeling today as we come onto our mats. Bringing whatever it is with you today onto your mat that you're wanting. And imagining everything else being away from you today, pushed away, not on your mat with you. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose if that feels good for you today. Finding a breath that might feel best. I know there's some colder weather outside, so if you are coming onto this, onto your mat, into this space today, feeling a little chillier, maybe you want to find and practice that ujjayi breath. Our ujjayi breath, we inhale through the nose, and as we exhale through the throat, keeping the mouth shut, almost if you're making a ha sound, fogging a mirror. We also call this Darth Vader's breath. And if you're coming onto your mat today feeling warmer, maybe you want to practice inhaling through your nose and exhaling with an open mouth. Inhaling and exhaling for a count of 3 or 4. Maybe even lengthening your exhale today, especially if you're feeling any extra bit of stress or anxiety. Remembering our contact points on the mat as we move through our physical practice today, and using those as grounding sensations. So pressing through our feet, our hands, our sit bones. Finding our breath deep from the belly, moving it up into our heart center, and then exhaling from the heart back down to the belly. Maybe setting your intention for today's practice. It is November. Thanksgiving's coming up. So maybe channeling that sense of gratitude, that feeling of gratitude, and whatever that might mean for you today, whether that's being grateful for this opportunity to practice together, to move together, whether that's being grateful for all that you have in your life, for your job, for your family, whatever it might be, even as small as being grateful for this rain today or these cooler temperatures. Letting go of any competition, judgment, or expectations. Focusing on the present moment today as we move through our practice, listening to our bodies, remembering that we always have the power to make a choice that feels best for us. If we are in a position on our backs, let's go ahead and pull our knees into our chest, rolling ourselves up or over to the side and maybe coming up into a seated position. We can sit, this is called Sukhasana, easy pose. You can also bend your knees, placing them out in front of you, or lengthen your legs. And if your hips are feeling tight, sitting on a block or a book is a great option. Sitting up nice and tall, let's inhale our arms up and overhead. And as we exhale, right hand comes down, left arm reaches up and over. Doing that at our own pace here. Inhaling, we go center. Exhale, it's a lateral spinal flexion. Moving up with your breath now. Inhale to center. Exhale, side flexion. We'll do one more round on each side. As you inhale, think about lengthening your spine, reaching up through the crown of the head. Continuing to inhale and exhale here with our body. As we exhale, our next time, we're going to take that gentle twist over the shoulder. Inhaling center, exhaling, we twist. And we can just alternate sides here. Again, letting our breath be our guide, our own personal power as we move through our practice. We'll take one more twist on each side, warming up our spine. And then this time, as we inhale, reaching our arms up to the sky, exhale, hands come behind us, maybe making fists. As we press down, we inhale, lift our heart to the sky, rolling our shoulders back, finding that big chest expansion. And then as we exhale, rounding our body forward, finding a little bit of spinal flexion, extension on our inhale, and then flexion as we exhale. One more time here. Inhaling, rolling the shoulders back, heart to the sky, and exhaling, rounding forward. This time, keeping our hands to the front of our mat, we can shift the block out. We're coming up into our all fours, hands and knees. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, softening the fingers, lengthening through our spine, and finding a neutral spine. As we inhale, belly to the mat, lifting through the chest and the heart. Exhale, chin to chest, rounding through the spine, moving through our cat and cow here with our breath. If we want to think about this as on our cat, starting with the chin, the top of the spine rounds all the way to the tailbone. And then as we inhale, the tailbone lifts, finding that big spinal flexion and extension. Continuing here, moving at your own pace. And feeling free to add anything else that might serve you or feel good in your cat and cow today. Maybe that's moving the hips side to side or taking those hip circles. Feeling free to hold your cat and cow. We'll hold here for 2 more rounds of breath wherever we are. And then when we're ready, coming back to our all fours, hands and knees, feeling free to make any adjustments. As we inhale, the right arm reaches out in front of us. And as we exhale, the right hand comes down. So the eye gaze is still to the floor. Inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, release. This time, adding on the opposite leg in our bird dog pose. Inhale, opposite arm, opposite leg. Exhale, release. This time, left arm, right leg, inhale, and exhale, release. If we want to add on to this, we can inhale to lengthen, exhale, arm and leg out to the side, just the corners of our mat. Inhale back to center, and exhale, release. Continuing, alternating our sides of the body, building that heat in our core, our muscular slings. So the muscles that connect our shoulders to our hips. We'll take one more round on each side. And if you finish, you can roll out your wrists, finding any extra bit of movement here, adjusting as needed. Coming back to your all fours, hands and knees. From here, we take our right fingertips to our temple, pressing into our left hand, rounding through our spine, lifting. Exhale, opposite elbow comes across. Warming up our thoracic spine. Inhale, option to reach the arm up to the sky. And exhale, we can thread the needle. One more time, inhale. Exhale, threading it through or opposite elbow to opposite side. Inhale, last time. Exhale, release to the mat. Left side this time. Left fingertips to the temple. We inhale to open. Exhale. You might even feel a little crack, and that's okay. Mine just did. Option to reach the arm all the way up to the sky. So our thoracic spine is our middle, the middle of our spine. And that's what we're getting into here with this movement. One more inhale whenever you're ready. And exhale, coming down to the mat. Still focusing on our core, starting in our all fours, hands and knees. We're taking our right foot out to the side. So left knee to the floor, right foot's gonna come out to the side in line with our knee. From here, we press up, coming into gate pose. So the foot's all the way on the floor. I'll show a side view for the folks on Zoom. Foot's out to the side. We're just on one knee, and we can always pad that knee if we want to. Arms come out to the sides of us, engaging our core muscles. We inhale here, and as we exhale, we take the left hand down towards the floor, moving to our side plank. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, coming back down. If we want to, we can find our block even on our exhale, bringing the ground up to meet us where we are. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, coming down, feeling our oblique muscles warming here. Inhaling one more time. Exhaling, holding our side plank here, finding our breath. We can keep the left knee on the floor, or if we want to, we can come up into our full plank. One more big inhale. Exhale, releasing the knee, releasing the hands, and coming back to our all fours, hands and knees. Maybe noticing a little bit more warmth in the body now. Moving to our other side. So left leg comes out to the side, in line with the knee, hips in line, and we come up. Finding our gate pose. Arms extend, inhale. As we exhale, right hand comes down to the floor into our side plank. Continuing that motion here with your breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, side plank. Feeling our obliques here from the side. Inhaling, exhaling, we can reach for a block. Finding one more round of this flow and meeting in our side plank when we're ready. Finding the breath if we want to. I'm gonna do the other side because I did that already. If we want to, we can lift that leg coming up into our full side plank. Scooping our hips to the sky. One more big inhale and exhale, releasing to the floor. Right knee comes down, left hand, right hand. Feeling free to roll out the wrist, take some cat-cows or side bends, whatever might feel good here. Now that our core is warm, let's take our knees to the long edges of the mat, tops of the feet down. We sit the hips to the heels, finding a nice child's pose. Catching our breath here, taking our forehead towards the floor, maybe towards our fists, if we want to, or finding our block. Our hands can come onto our block if we want, maybe finding a little more mobility in our child's pose today. Or our hands can also come behind us if that feels better for us. Remembering that child's pose is a great option for a rest pose, so we can come into this pose at any time in our practice. No permission needed. In fact, that's for pretty much every pose, so in my class. So if there's a rest pose that feels better for you, you can also make your way there. And child's pose is used interchangeably for down dog, so feel free to remember that down dog is not required of you at all. On your next inhale, let's shift the body forward, moving to our plank position. So knees in line with the hips, hands under shoulders. We shift forward, bracing our core. Exhale, we have the option of a little baby yoga push-up. Inhale, pressing all the way up. Exhale, child's pose. This time, inhaling option 2. If you want to, full push-up, chest to the mat, elbows by the sides, belly to the mat. Inhale, press back to your plank. Exhale, child's pose. Option 3, if you want to, coming down to the mat, chaturanga, always optional. Tops of the feet on the mat, inhale up to baby cobra. So shoulder blades squeeze in, glute squeeze. Exhale, child's pose. Deciding which of those options feels best for you, and we're just gonna flow through this, our half series. Remembering chaturanga is always an option. You don't have to do it if it doesn't feel good for your body. One more round of your half series wherever you are. And then when we're ready, we'll meet in child's pose. If you're wanting to explore downward facing dog today on your mat, you're welcome to lift your hips up to the sky. Walking your dog if it feels good here, remembering that inverted V position, shifting the weight back, maybe bending knees right and left. And from your child's pose or your down dog, all you're going to do is look towards the top of your mat, step towards the top of your mat, right foot, left foot. We find forward fold. Hands to the floor, maybe the shins, the thighs, or a block or book in front of us. Relaxing and softening into your forward fold here. So knees are soft, maybe grabbing alternating elbows, swaying side to side if that feels good. When you're ready, maybe shaking your head side to side, yes and no. Releasing through the jaw. From here, we'll release our hands towards our body or the floor or the block. As we inhale, we lift up to lengthen the spine for our flat back. Exhale, soften, forward fold. Inhale one more time to lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. This time, as we inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift to the sky if it feels good. Exhale, chair pose, weights in the heels. We can wiggle our toes, knees in line with the toes. Flowing your chair here a few times, finding a length in the spine as we lift into our extended mountain. And then let's move through our full sun salutations. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, optional chaturanga. Inhale, either back to plank, or we can come to full cobra or up dog, knees lift. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Walking, stepping, lunging to the top of your mat, forward fold, exhale. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Optional arms extended. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, fold, finding your breath. Inhale to lengthen the spine, flat back. Exhale, soften and fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. Shifting forward, inhale. Exhale, optional chaturanga. Inhale, up dog cobra or back to plank. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Stepping, lunging, walking, finding the top of your mat. Exhale. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Let's do 2 more rounds of our sun salutations, moving at your pace with your breath. Remember, you don't have to match my pace and movements on this at all, but asking yourself what feels best for my body today. That is our goal, as well as to think about the heat we're building in our bodies as a result of our sun salutations. Moving the breath right now that we're breathing in to all of our major muscles that we're going to be utilizing in our practice. Once you finish out your 2 sun salutations, we'll meet back in down dog or child's pose. No rush. Finding that place that feels good for you, and remembering these are all options. Feeling free to add on anything or remove anything in your sun salutations. Once you finish your 2 rounds, again, making your way back to your child's pose or your down dog, simply checking in with your body and maybe how you're feeling. I know I'm feeling the heat and the warmth. We're going to get ready to move into our strengthening work for today. So from either our down dog, or if we're in child's pose, looking forward to the top of the mat and stepping our left foot to the middle between our hands, finding that nice low lunge position. Excellent. From here, we have a couple options. We can lower the knee to the floor if we want to. Bringing our hands up to our heart center. So knees down if we want, hands at heart center. Option 2, we can lift that knee off the floor. If we want a little more heat, we're feeling fiery today. And then from this position, we're hinging forward, taking this right elbow across the thigh for our revolve lunge. So once again, remembering our option, the knee to the floor, finding the breath here in our revolve lunge, maybe pressing the hands together, opening through the chest, feeling the core. One more round of breath, big inhale. As you exhale, revolving, rotating back to the front, we're coming up to our high lunge facing the center. So the knee lifts, excellent. We drop the heel, open the hips to the long side of the mat for our warrior 2. Excellent. So left leg forward, left toes forward. We can check in on our knees, bending them side to side, pressing equally into both feet, squeezing our glutes, and feeling that opening in our hips. From here, flipping the left palm to the sky, reaching back behind us, revolve warrior, opening through our heart center. The right hand can be resting on the back leg or wrapped around us. Eye gaze up at the hand, down to the right foot, out to the side, whatever feels good. Taking a big inhale here. As we exhale, left forearm to front thigh, we find extended side angle. Option to take some arm circles here, opening up through the shoulder. And then when we're ready, finding that place of stillness. We've got a little transition here. Rotating our left foot, we find our 5-pointed star. So reaching up tall, heels in, toes out. As we exhale, we sweep the floor for sunflower, finding once again a nice release in the hips. Moving at your own pace here. Inhale to lift and exhale sunflower. Feeling the strength in the lower body. One more round here. Meeting back in that 5-pointed star. As we take our hands to our hips, we find a forward fold, softening the knees. Maybe the toes come in, the heels go out. Hands to the floor, the block, whatever feels good. And we can bend the knees right and left. Maybe finding a nice adductor or inner thigh stretch. And then when you're ready today, we're going to bend our right knee. So the right knee is bent, hands walk towards the right foot. And we rotate our hips towards the back of our mat, finding that low lunge on the other side that we did before. Option to lower the left knee. We can lift the hands, come up to that lunge position. So we're either here or here. Excellent. We hinge forward. This time, left elbow comes across to find our revolve lunge on the other side. Once again, the option to lift the left knee. We're doing the same sequence, just on the other side. Finding our breath here. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, we lift the chest, rotate back towards our center. Pressing our knee out for our high lunge. Option to grow our arms up to the sky. Inhaling here. As we exhale, we open to find warrior 2. So the right knee is bent. We can check our knees, make sure they're happy. Hips are open to the same side of the mat, just a different leg forward. Relaxing the shoulders. Flipping the right palm to the sky. We inhale, reach back, revolve warrior. Opening through the right side of the body this time. As we move through this, checking in with how each side might feel different. Not giving any label or judgment to it, just feeling. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, right forearm to thigh, left arm can lift, extended side angle. Option here to take some rotation in the shoulder if that feels good. When you're ready, coming back to that still point, As we inhale, we open the hips to find our 5-pointed star, adjusting the feet as needed, heels in, toes out. As we exhale, we find moonflower this time. Elbows pull back and down. Inhale to lift, exhale, moonflower. Just flowing here with your breath. Maybe feeling the strength. Still moving with your personal breath. 2 more rounds. Inhaling back to center when you're ready. Exhale, hands can come to the hips. We find our forward fold, softening the knees. Finding our block once again, if that feels good. Maybe releasing in the low back. If we want to here, we can even take a wide leg down dog. So we can walk the hands forward. Maybe the feet come in a little bit, pressing back, pressing our hips back. Taking our forehead or our head between our elbows and our biceps for our wide leg down dog. And then from here, slowly walking the hands back to the center. Hands make their way to the left foot, facing that front of our mat. We can move our block as needed. Rotating our hips, finding that low lunge, moving into a little balance on both sides today. So we shift the weight to the left foot, slowly coming up to our standing splits when we're ready. Finding length in the left leg, but also a squeeze in the right glute. You have a couple options here. You can slowly tap the foot down towards the floor and lift it up. You should start to feel some heat in the right glute if you want to, tapping it down and coming up. Or if you want to, staying in your standing split, bending the left knee, coming to our warrior one position with the right foot down. Hands can come to heart center. And then we can shift into our standing split. So yes, it's a big leap that we're taking. If we want to go into this option, we can inhale to our warrior one, exhale to our standing splits. Option to stay in your standing splits if you want to. One more round of breath. Meeting back in your standing split when we're ready. Taking a long step back with the right foot in our low lunge position. And then from here, walking our hands back to that long side of the mat. Maybe shifting from side to side. When we're ready, we'll walk our hands towards our right foot, move into our balance on the other side. So hips rotate to the back of the room. We shift the weight into the right foot, maybe moving the block right if we want it, lifting into our standing splits on the other side. So option to stay here, that's option one if you want. You can also tap the foot down and lift it back up. Tap down, lift up, that's option two. Option three, bending our right knee, coming up to our warrior one, inhaling, exhaling, hinging from the hips to our standing split. One more round of breath here. And then when we're ready, meeting in our standing splits, we'll look towards the back of our mat, take a long step back for our low lunge. Walking our hands back to the side of the mat. This time we can take that wide leg down dog one more time if we want to. Maybe the feet come in a little bit. Taking knee bends from side to side, whatever feels good here. And then when we're ready, we'll walk our hands back towards the center of our body, slowly shifting towards our left foot, option to take that block with us. Lowering the right knee to the mat, then the left knee to the mat. Sitting back into either our down dog or our child's pose, catching our breath here. Moving into some of our deeper stretching for today. Taking a few breaths, maybe noticing the temperature change in your body. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly inhale, shifting forward to the top of our mat, finding that plank position. So hands under shoulders. As we exhale, we come down to the mat, chest down, neutral spine, tops of the feet on the mat. From here, we'll take our right hand out in front of us, bending our left knee, flexing our foot. We take our left hand, reach back behind us. We can grab the outside of the foot, or we can grab the inside of the foot. If you have any sort of shoulder injuries, though, just being mindful of that with grabbing the inside of the foot. If it doesn't quite reach, your hand doesn't quite reach your foot, just reaching back simply. You can stay right here, keeping the knee bent. Inhaling, we squeeze the glutes, pushing the hips into the mat. Slowly lifting our chest just a little bit. Eye gaze down for our bow pose. As we exhale, we release the left leg, switching sides. Left arm comes out in front of us. Right knee bends, hand behind us, noticing how it feels on each side. Trying to keep our knees together. Inhaling, we press into the left hand, lift the chest just a little bit. Keeping the rib cage on the mat, the hips down. And then as we exhale, we slowly lower down to the mat. Taking our forearms out in front of us, we can gently rest our forehead on them. Maybe rocking side to side if it feels good. Finding our breath here on our bellies. We actually get more oxygen to our body when we lay on our belly. But in this position here, you're going to find your breath in the back of your rib cage. Taking a few more deep breaths here as we start to slow down our breath and our mind. When we're ready, we'll take our hands back underneath our shoulders, right hand and left hand. Slowly pressing ourselves back up. And then coming into our child's pose. So we just did a lot of extension in our spine there. So we're going to find this nice little bit of counter stretch. When you're ready, slowly walking your hands up towards your knees, lifting your head, your chest, shifting yourself around. We're finding that seated position. Extending our left leg out in front, keeping our right knee in as we use it as a brake to slowly lower ourselves onto the mat today. Rounding through the spine, keeping this right knee in. We're going to move through some stretches in the hamstring and the hip on this side before we bring it to our final relaxation. So you have a couple options here. For me, I like to take my opposite leg in, placing the foot on the floor. So bending the knee is an option, especially if you notice the hips start to lift off the mat. From here, we'll lengthen the right leg for a hamstring stretch. We can hold above or below our knee. And then if it feels good, maybe pointing and flexing through the foot. Maybe rolling out the ankle. Maybe moving with our breath here as we inhale, and then as we exhale, maybe pulling in a little closer or finding a little more length in the leg. Really feeling this stretch below the knee joint. So behind the knee, there's lots of ligaments, but we want to feel it in the thick part of the muscle from the knee down to the glutes. That's our hamstring. And from here, we have a couple options for our hip stretch. So you can take your left hand up to the sky, grabbing onto the inside or the outside of your foot. You can also take your first two fingers around your big toe, Taking that leg out to the side, the left arm can extend, and we just slowly drop that leg out to the side. If this doesn't feel good or accessible for you, you can just keep the knee bent, maybe lengthening the left leg. We can keep the knee bent, opening that hip to the right side. Once again, being mindful of our left hip. If it lifts off the mat, maybe we want to bend the knee. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, let's slowly bring the right leg back into center. Bending the knee, grabbing under the hamstring. Left knee comes in to meet it. We rock side to side, gently massaging our low back. Moving through our other side. So right foot comes to the floor. Left leg extends. Once again, we can lengthen the right leg out or keep the knee bent. Hamstring stretch on the other side, holding above or below the knee. Pointing and flexing, and simply noticing the difference in sensation as we point and as we flex. For me, I feel it a little bit deeper as I keep my foot flexed. Staying here as long as you'd like. If you want to, you can reach your left hand up towards your foot or your big toe. Simply taking that leg out to the side, the left side this time, keeping the knee bent as much as it feels good for you. Noticing that big stretch in the hips as well here. Also our external rotators. Taking one more inhale. As we exhale, let's slowly bring our left knee in. And then grabbing on our left hamstring, we pull the right knee in one last time. Rocking side to side. We've got one more stretch. Arms come out to our sides. Block might be helpful nearby. As we slowly lower our knees over to the right side of our body, keeping our left shoulder down on the mat. The knees can fall to the block or gently rest on the floor or our spinal twist. Lots of options here. If it feels good for you, you can also lengthen the top leg, maybe deepening this stretch. So if we want to, we can extend from the knee on our left leg, our top leg. Taking one more round of breath. When we're ready on our next inhale, we'll slowly bring our knees back to center, to our mat. If we want to, we can move our block to the other side. We'll keep the arms out nice and wide and slowly drop the knees over to the left. Once again, option. As we drop the knees, we can also extend the top leg. Taking one more round of breath here. And when we're ready, we'll slowly bring our knees back to center. Taking any last and final poses, stretches, or anything our body needs or wants. We can rock it side to side. And then finding any position that's going to feel good for us today for our final relaxation. So maybe that's legs extended, hands by the side, That's not the only option though. Remember, we can keep our knees bent and in or open. We can lay on our side. We can lay on our bellies. Finding that place of peace and comfort once again, maybe closing your eyes, knowing that my eyes will remain open. Bringing that sense of gratitude back into your mind. Feeling grateful for all that our body was able to accomplish today. Sometimes we don't thank our bodies, but this is a great time to do so. Maybe even putting a hand on our hearts, one hand on our belly. We place our hand on our hearts for love, and we place our hand on our belly for courage. Being grateful for all the love you've given and all the love you've received. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing that awareness back into your body and your space. And then whenever you're ready, you're welcome to bring your knees into your chest if that feels good. Maybe rolling over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow. And slowly making your way back to a comfortable seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll take one more collective breath together. As we inhale, we lengthen our spine. And as we exhale, we bring our hands back to our heart center. We end our practice by saying something that simply means I honor, see, and observe the light in each and every one of you. It is also within me. Namaste.